Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne back again for your monthly December 2014 horoscope. For everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius. My real name is Beth or Elizabeth, and I use, just so you know, a lot of you have asked me, so just showing you, I use the Shadowscapes deck by Stephanie Puy-Moon Law. Her artwork is amazing. I love this deck. My deck is not entirely, does not match up to what traditional decks are because the meaning of each card is my interpretation of the card. So on the top of each card has little writing. But anyways, as you can see, I am in a hotel. I'm traveling from Virginia to Washington State, so I decided to record today. And I already shuffled and I laid out a spread. I had to pause my video for a moment. And this is for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius. And this is a very intense spread, so I'm going to go slowly and carefully through this so that I don't miss anything. But you guys have what I call a cluster of negativity, which is very unlike you. It's almost like where you are right now is in really like turmoil, or like you're in a very like topsy-turvy or volatile emotional state. The elements, things going on in your life are also kind of really right now up for examination. So you're in this, I feel like you're going through this period of time where you don't know how things are going to work out, and you're questioning everything. And, you know, you've got that headspace energy that's just like, I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if I made the right decision. You know, how am I going to do this? Am I going to have enough money? All these things are kind of going through your head. So right now, this is the interesting part. You have, like right now, you're in such a volatile state that almost the entire, what I call main spread, the cross part of the spread is negative. It's not like, and so you're kind of blocked. This negativity is kind of blocking you from the positive things. Now, I will tell you, the outcome is really positive. So I feel like you're going in December, you're going to be going through like sort of like, and I'm recording this end of November. So the end of November going into like the beginning of December is very challenging. This is a very challenging time. And I don't like to see this. It's very rare that I see this, which is why I'm going to go slowly and carefully through it, because I want to really figure out like what's going on. So the first card that you got was actually the Three of Swords. And this card is, it represents pain and suffering and loss, trauma, as well as sacrifice. I feel like in this instance, you have sacrificed a lot. You may have sacrificed three things. The ones that are coming to my mind: your home, your family, your friends. You're kind of in this place of hurting. You know, you're hurting, you know. I guess what's coming to me is you feel like nobody loves you, and you feel like, you know, there have been people that are not out to get you, but like you felt like instead of feeling, I don't know, like this lovely, I'll see if I can find it. I guess well, this is a good one, but the one that I'm thinking of is the being lifted out of hardship card. Instead of feeling like really, really good, you're feeling like really, really like shit. That's the thing. You're feeling like absolute shit. And you may be really depressed. You may be really, which is very much unlike Aquarius, because Aquarius has, well, Aquarius is very optimistic. Generally, they're very upbeat. They're very cheerful. You know, they have their moments, but usually Aquarians can see the brighter side. Right now, Aquarians, you Aquarius are not seeing it. You're like, I'm not seeing it at all. It's almost like you are in this, you're in this phase. You're going through a phase. And my younger brother used to hate it when I said that about him as a teenager. I used to say he's going through the phase, you know. He hated it. He hated it. But you're going through a phase, Aquarius. And the phase is you're trying to figure out who you are. You're trying to figure out where you belong. You're trying to figure out who, you know, what your next move is going to be, who your family truly is, who your friends truly are. You've had to give up a lot. That's the path that you're on. It's the sacrifice. It's having to give up a lot. But what you don't see is that you are going to gain a lot. So because you've given up so much, you are going to get a lot in the end. You don't really see it coming, and you just don't maybe even believe that it's going to happen. You're having doubts. This is what the positive swan is. This is a swan. See a swan that's lifting this girl? That's a beautiful swan. That's what I think of when I think of Aquarius. You know, a beautiful swan. Or even the freedom from worry card, which is, you know, being lifted. See this swan here? That's a positive swan. This is an unhealthy, unhappy swan that's been hurt by circumstances, life. You've been through a lot, Aquarius. Those of you who are watching this, you have been through so much. And this is the path that you're walking down. This is where you're at. And so the things that have hurt you have already hurt you. So this is almost like, even though this is like the path that you're walking down, it's sort of like these have already been stabbed into. So it's sort of like you've already been hit with it. You know, you don't have to expect to be hit with it, you know, but because, you know, you got hit with it, it just threw your whole world for a loop. And you've been trying to go with the flow, but this is a swan that's just very, very, you know, very, very sick. Some of you must maybe suffering from illness, you know, or trying to recover from being sick, or, but I feel like because this is part of this, what I call this cluster of negativity, which is a big cluster, by the way. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. That, it's sort of like you're scaling the wall, okay? Because I usually think of these, you know, cluster of negativity is 2 or more cards. So, like, you know, 2 makes like what I might want to call like a brick, right? Altogether, they're like a brick, right? And 3 is a little group, a little cluster, right? 4, I can't do it here, becomes a wall, okay? So you're climbing a wall. It's like you're climbing this insurmountable wall. You're going through a lot. And this is sort of like the first 2 weeks in December. You are doing it all. But I want you to know that the outcome here is sitting on top of the world. So I want you to know that you are going to get there. You're going to have made it. And I'm kind of tearing up a little bit just because it's hard to see what's on the other side of the wall when you're on one side. You know, it's like this. If this is a wall, you can't see what's over here. What's over here is this feeling of power and achievement? Is this feeling of I did it? Is this feeling of having, you know, great wealth and great abundance, and you know, she's hanging out there with her menagerie, her cats, her dog, you know, and her family, and she's feeling really good. So I know right now, or even going into December, you might not feel it this way now. Going into December, you may feel this way. And if you feel like you're not your usual self right now, that's the thing. You're not your usual perkalicious, so that's the word I mean, self. You're just not. You don't feel like yourself. You're not acting like yourself. You're acting probably really out of character. You may be... You're so overwhelmed with emotions, and you're not really an emotional sign. You may have other like water signs in your chart, but even then, it's just like all these things, all these life things that are impacting you are making you sort of reactive. You're not responding, you're reacting, but it's just like you're not even reacting that much. I just feel like you're just like having to just climb this crazy wall. Excuse me. You're having to climb this crazy wall. And what's crossing you is the devil. The devil is feeling trapped in some way, feeling like being chained to money, being chained to all that is tempting and worldly and selfish. If you're a male Aquarius, you know, I feel like if you're a male Aquarius, you're struggling with like a lot of negative thinking. And that's the main thing. The devil is in your head. The devil is like whispering and talking and telling you, oh, you're never going to get there. No, and all the decisions you've made are all wrong, right? That's what the devil is trying to tell you. But what I'm here to tell you is that you've made the right decisions. And not to regret those decisions. And if you're a female Aquarius, you know, you're in the cave. Guys, you may be in the cave too. You may be feeling very trapped, you know, in a relationship with someone. This can be a Capricorn person in your life, you know. Females, you know, the main thing here is that you need to realize that you have the power to do your own thing, okay? And I also feel like for the females, it's the same stuff. I almost don't feel like this is a relationship. This is the devil in your head, because this is Aquarius. You may be in a relationship with a Capricorn person. You may be married to the devil himself. You may be tempted in some way by worldly things, by shopping, by money. You know, Aquariuses like to have nice things, but, you know, so there is the temptation factor, but I feel like it's more in your head. It's more just, you have negative thoughts in your head because the devil has put them there, and they're negative, and it's just not healthy for you. This is not a healthy place to be. This is having to give up a lot. And then on top of it, you have this devil in your head that's trying to fuck with your head, you know? And you may, like I said, you may be in a relationship, but I'm feeling more that this is, you know, just your head is being fucked with somehow. The foundation card is coming to the end of your rope, the road, and having to make your own way. This is in the distant past. You may have had to start your own business, or you may have come to a place where you lost your job or you quit your job. And now you're trying to go your own way. And maybe it's not so easy. Maybe it's not as easy as you thought it was going to be. You know, maybe there are more challenges than you realized. And in the the recent past, this is inequality in partnership, but this is also feeling sometimes like if you're single, you don't feel like people are giving a lot to you. You don't feel like people are giving to you, and other people may think that they are, but you kind of don't feel like it. You don't feel like they are. Male Aquarians, you may be in a relationship, or you may have been in a relationship where you felt like you were giving a lot, especially financially, but the female was just like taking. Aquarius men, you may have been in a relationship with an Aries woman. It's kind of coming to me. Or a Capricorn, or even a Leo. Aries, sorry, not Aries guys. Well, Aquarius women may have been in a relationship with an Aries guy, and they didn't feel like the Aries was actually giving them enough, but he thought he was giving a lot. If you're single, it's interesting because there's two parts to this. You may have, if you're single, you may have just been wanting for some kind of settlement, maybe a legal settlement, or you may have just felt like there's a project or something that you started. Maybe maybe you did start your own business. Maybe this led you to start your own business, and in starting your own business, you needed to put a lot into it, and you had to put a lot more money than you thought into this project, or starting your own business, or trip, or something that you had to put a lot into it. And this is not necessarily feeling like you have enough money to do it, or just money is just like flowing out of your pocket, and it's like a spigot. It's just like money is flowing, and there's no way to stop it, and you're like, how am I going to pay for all this stuff? That's this card too. In some instances, and I kind of feel like that's part of it. What's crowning you right now is feeling overwhelmed. It's just not surprising, because the path that you're on, you've had to give up a lot. You've gone through so much. You've been hurt in the past, and then you got the devil in your head that's just fucking with your head. And so not only were you hurt in the past, or you've been hurt, your head is not in the right place. And then there goes your emotions. Because your head is in the right place, you're overwhelmed. See, she's got all that head stuff going on. This is generally a Pisces woman, but because it's really unusual. You may have an Aquarius Pisces combination, but I see that for you, it's not always. See, this is the interesting thing about my cards. It's not always that, oh, this is always a Pisces girl, and oh, this is always an Aquarius girl. No, I see this as being bigger than just the details of this card. It's the artwork that's represented spirals around this girl's head, which is causing all this emotion, and which is unusual for an Aquarius, but it's happened, and it's sort of just like with all this destruction. I mean, it's sort of like with all this destruction, because this to me is destruction. This is something being hurt or killed and destroyed, getting rid of something. You may have had to let go of a lot. You may have had to, I feel like this is maybe partly due to, the month of November, where it's cleaning house, basically. November takes things away and brings things in very quickly. So it's sort of like you had to get rid of a lot of stuff, whether that was a relationship, whether that was multiple relationships, whether that was, physical belongings, whether that was a job that wasn't working for you anymore. This was just a lot. And then, you may have been dealing with drama, actual people that were, maybe people at work that were really trying to get to you, or that did try to hurt you in some way that you were dealing with. But my feeling is that you're out of that nest. You're out of the nest and you're flying solo, and flying solo isn't easy. That's the thing. It's not easy. And what you don't see coming is you just, again, you make Aquarius men may be thinking about a Pisces female. It can be, Aquarius guys, you're thinking about her, You're thinking about a Pisces, or a Cancer female. Could be even a Scorpio. I feel like there's more Pisces, though. She's looking at the past, She's looking about all the things that you said or did that hurt her. You may have broken up with her, Aquarius guys. Aquarius girls, there may be a Pisces female in your life that's, you're thinking about too. But there's a lot of negative emotions there. But if you're not thinking about a Pisces female, you're just kind of embodying what these cards represent, which is feeling overwhelmed. And this is mild depression. Again, I feel like some of you are really, it's sort of like you will go, I should say, in December. You're going to start off sort of feeling very dark. And then, it's going to kind of lighten up. It's not going to be as bad it was maybe in the beginning of December towards the middle, but it's going to still feel heavy. The energy feels really heavy. We have this Uranus-Pluto thing happening, and it's not fun. It's not pretty. It's not going to be pretty. I don't feel like December is going to be pretty, okay? Only towards the end will I feel like it's really, really lightened up for you. But this is somebody who, of course, it's sort of like, she's kind of retreating. She's kind of just like, I've had it. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to take alone time. I need alone time. And you're in your own world, Aquarius. This is you in a way too, because Aquariuses need a lot of alone time, and when they get overwhelmed or when they get hurt, they get confused, they need to take time away. They need to take time for themselves. And this is what you don't see coming in. I feel like it's time, alone time. It's time for yourself, that you need to focus on you. And the world's passing you by. Just remember that there may be things that you need to write down, things that you may need to do. Don't let too much time go by without really making a to-do list, because and calling maybe people that love you, call people back and be in touch. I feel like you're going to, it just kind of needs some alone time. That's kind of my feeling. You just need to be alone. You need to feel like yourself again, and you're not. And you need that time to figure it out. Emotionally, again, this is part of the cluster. This is part of the negativity. Feeling like, again, you've got two cards that are all about being trapped, and I'll put them together. This trapped energy here and this trapped energy here. I feel like my feeling is that toward like at some point you've decided to break free from this, okay? You felt stuck in this way. And so you decided to break free. And because you broke free, there's all this emotion, here. And you're confused. It's confusing you. And, you wandered away, and you still have that feeling of every little move you make is a challenge. Every little thing that you do is a struggle. And you do have, on the outside, there's negative energies, people in your life that are influencing you in a negative way. People that are, dark clouds, that's not you, but it's sort of like they're not that good for you. and they're kind of pulling you down, and it's sort of like they want you to stay in that negative space. And what you need to realize is you need to stay positive, and, you know, there is someone in your life that is a light in your life, and you need to remember to call that person or talk to that person. It's a little hummingbird there, that's saying, you know, they're a friend. They're a true friend. They're saying, stay calm. Everything's going to be all right, you know. You definitely have legal issues, you know. Things are going to work out, just so you know. Things are going to work out. It's going to be fine. It's interesting because I think you guys got this legal stuff in for the month of November, and I feel like it's going to come to an end in December. It's going to work out fine. This is resolution. This is legal resolution. This is, see those, I'm getting drawn to those little butterflies. Those are, you know, butterflies are short-lived. So what I'm getting is it's going to be a happy outcome. And it's going to kind of be over faster than maybe you expected it to be over. You know, it's going to be maybe, it's going to happen just briefly and then go. But it is resolution. I feel like resolution is the main word there. And then your attitude is actually going to be in a really, again, this is getting to the second part of December in a much better place. You know, this is, you're looking up. You're going to look up and you're going to see all this. I never realized this. Never actually saw this before. The tree is actually coming up out of, the piano. It's like half in the piano. I never even saw it that way before, which is kind of crazy. But this is everything you can dream of. This is magic, music, and beauty. But this is a girl who's playing the piano. So if you have any musical talents, musical gifts, or even if you just like to listen to music, this is, you know, end of December is going to be a time for that, you know. It's going to help you. The message is the music is really helps you. So the more you listen to music, the more you're going to feel, you know, better about things. And then, again, this is the outcome. I'm going to show it to you again. So you just realize that you're going to get there. Everything's going to be great. You need to, I feel like you need to go through these this upheaval in order to get there. It's transition. The word mastery came to my mind. Someone that's going through this is going, sort of like you're on a spiritual journey. You're going to become a master of sorts of all these challenges. You're going to know, oh, okay, you know, when somebody comes to the end of their rope, it's time to change. You're going to know that. That you're going to have down, you know. You're going to realize that, you know, it's, you're going to get a settlement, okay? But it's also, life is not about money. And you're going to realize that it takes a lot. You have to put a lot of effort into something in order to see the rewards. And it's about planting a seed and watching it grow and nurturing it. And it's a process. And then you're going to understand that with all this sacrifice comes a lot of emotion, you know, comes with it. A lot of emotion, a lot of feeling of depression, of being overwhelmed, of needing time alone. That's all part of this journey that you're on. And in the end, things are going to work out, you know. You're going to feel like really, really amazing. Maybe more amazing than you've been in a long time. So I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Aquarius. Things are going to work out. Everything's going to be fine. So I know it may be really challenging. It may be a very challenging time. It may be a challenging month. But I want you to keep your mind, I want you to focus on not catering to your negative thoughts, not thinking negative at all. Don't let the devil get to you, you know. Stay positive. Do as much as you can. Everybody does the best that they can. So, and remember to say your prayers. You know, talk to the angels. Ask them for help. Ask them for guidance. They're there for you. So, that said, thank you so much for all of your lovely comments on my channel. And if you would like a private reading, feel free to email me at elizabetholson31@gmail.com. And my schedule, I'm going to be, because I'm traveling, I'm going to be available mostly in the evenings until I get to my destination, and then I'll be doing this full time. So, or at least part-time until I have another job or whatever. I'm not sure how it's going to go. So, but I'd love to talk to you more, and I'd love to get you set up for a reading. I've really enjoyed all the clients I've had, and yeah, so I will talk to you guys again soon. I send you big hugs, big kisses, and thank you so much. Take care.